Josh and Mario, here I am. Let's celebrate. Got any beers? Perfect. 1 for you, 5 for me.
What's up, man?
Oh, hey, I'm Kenny, and I was pouring vodka into a water bottle in the bathroom, and my RA walked in.
Ooh, busted. Hi there.
Hey, I'm Courtney. Classic college story, you know. I drank 40 beers and got naked and grabbed a chainsaw, went behind North Quad and cut down like 35 pine trees.
I'd like a keg of beer, please.
You don't say.
Yeah, how much is that?
Give me ID, Sonny. You little bastards just won't give up, will you? Listen, no ID, no goddamn beer. Can't you get that through your thick skull?
We need more beer.
But what about feeding the fish tomorrow?
Who cares? Beer's all that matters to me.
We're all out, CJ, and that's that.
Oh no! I stabbed Mario. Why would I do this?
Because you're addicted. Admit it.
You're right, I admit it. I need help.
Great, let's drink.
Like a month ago, I got blitzed by myself, and I guess I ate some eggs or something, because the next morning, I'm sorry if this is kind of nasty, but I go to the bathroom, and an egg just comes out, and it's still in its shell, and I'm like, my body is so jacked, I can't digest an egg.
Right. I mean, I don't know if alcohol does that, but maybe you didn't necessarily eat the egg, if that makes sense. Maybe you...
Oh my god, that does make so much more sense, because I hate eggs. I would never eat one.
Hey, Johnny, how about a beer, huh?
Ooh, couple Charles Bukowskis?
Couple of Brustoyevskis?
Maybe a Mike Brugoslowski?
Perhaps a Teddy Bruschi?
Name has to have a ski at the end of it, and you just put Brewski at the end of Martina Navratilova, so...
You know, if there's no ski at the end of the root word, then we would just be idiots saying nonsense.
What do you guys give me if I kill that bird? Barbara, that's a bald eagle. Get away, Baldy! Yeah!
Welcome. This is govsradio.com. This is the Wørt with Mike, and Pete's over there today.
Good evening.
Hi, Pete. How are you?
What's up, Mike?
What's going on, man?
I'm good.
Today in studio, we have Dan from Fire Island Brewery. Dan, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking.
Hey. And we are streaming right now on our Instagram page. That's The Wørt, spelled Wort, a podcast. I'm getting that a lot, too. It's hard to explain that to people who don't know any better.
Too much inside baseball.
You mean someone's got to catch our signs? They're going to be stealing signs at second base? Sons of bitches. So we're here with Dan and Fire Island Brewery. And Dan, you are our first brewery guest, like I said, the way we intended it from the very beginning. And we definitely welcome you in, and we thank you so much for coming through today, bringing us some treats. We'll get into those treats in a little bit. How's everything going?
Good, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man.
Thanks for having us, and I'm looking forward to tasting some beer.
Yeah,
and talking about some beer.
You and me both.
Talking a little crap, I guess, too.
That's why we're here.
Yeah, talk a lot of crap and beer. So Dan, let's start with a little bit about you, because this is what the people want to hear. Tell us a little bit about yourself before being a brewery or a brewer owner, or maybe you can even just enlighten us on your exact
what
total...
do you do at Fire Island?
My official title?
Yes.
My official title is head brewer. Basically what that means is, I know, everything.
Lives
like,
everybody
do you just get
wants.
business cards and just say, like, brewer? Like, I mean, that's
That's it.
Wait. I have.
You just got business cards.
I do. They're kind of butt-shaped at the moment.
That's-
I apologize.
That's all right. Feels nice.
Brewers
That's
tend
awesome.
to sit
And
on
warm.
That is a
So
great
warm.
job title.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean,
Good
I
for
didn't
you.
give it to myself, but I'm happy to have it, and it's it's been really fun. Like Fire Island's been around since 2009, and we just got our production brewery in Bayshore opened up
You guys
first
had been,
breweries.
I think they called Gypsy Brewing, or
So we were contract brewing. The last place we were contracting at was Two Roads, and they were doing a great job with the beer.
Just drove by there.
Yeah.
Now it's hard to get that. I've been told it's hard to get the Two Roads contract because other breweries have tried. I know Carton went out of there as well and did some canning out of there. So let's get to that in a little bit. So how did it all start? Like, how did you get to that point where you are now head brewer? Bring me up to that point.
So I've had kind of an interesting career. I started out. I went to Johnson & Wales for culinary arts and food service management. Worked in the restaurant industry for a few years. Ended up going through the American Brewers Guild Craft Brewers Apprenticeship Program. And then...
And where is that out of?
That is out of Vermont.
Okay. So you spent some time up there?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, not in Vermont. I didn't spend time in Vermont. I should preface that. So I did. It was actually a correspondence course. So I'm not going to say the Phoenix of brewing colleges.
Yeah.
I think I got a lot out of it, and I don't think I would be where I am today without.
Right. It's true education. I'm a teacher, so I get it.
Yeah.
No matter what it is, if you're sitting there learning it, then you're going to want to know it, and it's going to work.
Yeah. Like I said, I went to culinary school, and it was a lot like that. I learned the science about it, and then they don't tell you what it's going to be like in the real world, and that when your souffle falls, you're out of a job. But so you have to make sure that souffle doesn't fall. So back to
Johnson & Wales coming out does the
Brewers Guild.
Yeah, Brewers Guild.
And by the way, Johnson & Wales, you're coming out of there with a business degree, right?
Yes and no.
It is.
It would be a BA, right? A Bachelor of Arts.
BA, yes. Yeah.
I was just being a. I'm sorry, because I know I have a culinary program on my campus.
Oh, nice.
And so a lot of the kids, strive to be a Johnson & Wales student and want to do that kind of stuff. I'm sorry, I should put this up here so I can actually talk to you. Yeah, no. So I know that people really strive to do that. It's a very well-renowned school
for those programs,
across the country.
absolutely.
Top of the line.
Yeah,
there's not too many people that would rival that one.
No.
I know they're
Cornell, believe it or not, has a similar program.
Really?
Which the school of hotel
hospitality,
management.
Yeah. That's a really good school. I mean, it's Cornell.
It's Cornell. Yeah.
Johnson & Wales had a 4-day work week, and they literally checked to see if I had a pulse and to see if they gave me a credit check to make sure I could go to their school.
Wow,
but
that's it.
It was great. I mean, the instruction was great, and I wouldn't,
So you do the online, let's not say online, correspondence. I like that better. A correspondence course, and that brought you to where? Did you do homebrewing first? Did you start somewhere
So I started. During my time at Johnson & Wales, poor college kid needs to get drunk for pennies on the dollar.
Yeah.
So
don't we all?
I know. Yeah. So I learned to homebrew.
We went to Busch Light. you went to brew your own beer.
Natty Ice Light.
Oh.
Busch Light is much easier to brew than it is to make
drink.
an
Yes,
IPA.
you piss in a bottle and you throw some yeast in there and you got yourself beer.
Yeah, I think
fantastic.
it's really just this bottle of Kharkov is actually your 30 rack of
That's right.
Busch.
Love the 30 racks. They were the best.
So I started homebrewing in college, and then I kind of brought that back to the city. I was living with my parents when I first got a job, and commuting in from Jersey and making a mess of their kitchen and then their driveway, and then ultimately they kicked me out, and I actually ended up getting a job at Brooklyn Brewery through the American Brewers Guild. I did my apprenticeship there.
Okay.
Worked there for like 2.5 years, and then I kind of parted ways and tried to do my own thing. I touched on a couple startups, and then
I'm sure they're used to that. I'm sure that a lot of the apprentices are coming in to learn the trade and know what to do so they can start their own. I don't think a lot of them are really trying to work there per se, unless there's an opening like magically that one of their brewers go on to another brewery or build their own and then they move up. But
I know like a couple of guys that I worked with. One guy went on to a really cool career out in I want to say Oregon. I'm
cool.
Totally.
Somewhere out west.
Yeah, it was Full Sail. So
nice.
I don't know if he's still there, but hey.
Yeah.
And then another guy that I worked with actually went on to start Newburgh Brewing Company.
Is that the one with Captain's Daughter, Full Sail?
No, but I did work.
That's Great Sail.
I did go to American Brewers Guild with Josh, and he was an awesome guy,
cool.
and I'm looking forward to seeing what his new project kind of does. So
nice.
I don't know if I'm saying it right, but Shaidzon, Shaidzon, out of Rhode Island.
Okay.
Definitely somebody to kind of keep an eye out for, for sure. Yeah.
We're always looking for those.
Yeah.
He and I travel and try to pull what we can for the no-namers. That's what we really do like.
Yeah.
Not to say you're not, because we're from here and we know we've known about it since, 2009, you said, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So in 2008, you're out of the Brooklyn Brewery apprenticeship, and now you're starting on your own.
Yeah.
What does it take to get started to that point?
Yeah, how do you get from brewing in your house to starting your own
Did
brewery?
they give you like a 20-ton mash tun, and they're like, "Hey, you can take this. Congratulations."
You know what? I wish. No, it was kind of it was a little bit more than that. Like I was lucky enough to have some good connections and some people that I knew were looking to start a brewery. So I kind of joined forces with them, and that project ended up being Kent Falls Brewing Company up in northwestern Connecticut.
Yeah, we know about Kent Falls.
Yeah, it was an interesting place to start because I was living on a farm, and like it was just a really cool place to be, but there wasn't a whole lot of brewing, and I ended up kind of meeting the girl of my dreams, who I'm now married to.
In Kent Falls, up at the brewery.
I knew her when I was working at Brooklyn Brewery,
okay.
And our relationship just kind of snowballed into this, marriage, as it were.
It's just you blink and it's you married.
I know.
God
Yeah,
damn it! What happened?
It just happened. I don't know.
Sorry, dear. She's definitely listening, and she hates me now. Anyway. So did she follow you up to Connecticut?
She made a valiant effort to make sure that I wasn't alone up there,
okay.
And I tried to kind of give her as much time. So it basically turned into this long distance relationship, and based on a lot of different things. Like it was just at the time it was better for me to kind of part ways, not live up in Kent and come back and kind of start the family life that I'd kind of been working on. So. After that, I'd kind of bounced around. I'd worked at a few places. I held a post at Black Forest Brewhouse in Farmingdale.
Oh.
Yeah, we love Black Forest.
That's where
I love their happy hour.
I went on the first date with my wife there, actually.
There you go.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I go
Very
there
cool.
on my birthday almost every year for
Nice.
the last few years.
They have some good beers.
Oh, yeah.
Their Dunkel
I mean, the
is
Amber and
really
the
good.
Dunkel are right
Yeah.
up there, and I could just sit there and drink Amber all night.
Yep.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
My-
The food there is excellent, too.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure as a culinary person, you took to chef over there, and he does a really good job. And like I said,
Indeed,
the
yeah.
happy hour there is unbelievable.
Yep.
We've said it before, and we would go to, as teachers, we come out at 3, be able to go over there on Friday. $3 pints. I had a mug on the thing, so I think I got it cheaper. And then they had a full spread, like wings, a carving board. No one has carving boards for free at a happy
Not
hour.
for-
I was like, this is
not for happy
unbelievable.
hour.
Yeah,
And then,
no, it's awesome.
from, let's say, October to November or late September to early November, you had a band in there every night.
Yep,
and most of it was, traditional German, and they'll have other people there, and you had quick draw. And it was a great place, a great brew pub.
Yeah, it was a fun place, a good time. It gave me a new respect for like brewing lagers. Crushed it with those, and my favorite there was Pilsner. It was all Pilsner malt, all Saaz hops, and just kind of to have it fresh out of the tank was something special.
That was a treat.
To be brewing it, it was like
pretty awesome.
I had to kind of like every time like I tasted a batch out of a tank, and I just kind of take a step back and be like, it's pretty cool. There aren't many breweries on Long Island, in New York, on the East Coast that west of the Mississippi, east of the Mississippi. I am not a geography teacher, obviously. But yeah, no.
When you brew delicious beer, you don't need to know geography all the time.
Exactly. Yeah. Although, if you want to be an advanced or a master cicerone, you might. But yeah, anyway.
So you ended up at Black Forest, and from there, is that where you then started Fire Island?
No. So after Black Forest, I was contacted by a couple of guys that were trying to set up a brewery in Brooklyn. So
okay.
I was actually commuting from Brooklyn at the time. My wife and I moved from Astoria to Bay Ridge while I was working at Black Forest, and then I ended up getting in touch with these guys that wanted to start another brewery, Five Boroughs Brewing Company.
Oh, Five Boroughs, okay.
Yeah, so I helped those guys kind of get started, and it was interesting. It was, they were looking to do something like, very big. Like they got a space that was 15,000 square feet with,
Wow. I didn't even know it was that big.
Clean and clear, 30-foot ceilings roughly. Yeah, it was a pretty big space, and their plan was to kind of be New York's brewery, and I was looking for something a little bit more. Low key, yeah, exactly. So,
and it's hard in that Brooklyn market right
There's a
now.
lot of competition now,
it is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, you could walk from brewery to brewery, which is really nice. But to corner any market within there, you got to compete with some big guys now.
Yeah, no,
and like nationwide people. That's a hard market to be in.
It's crazy, Like we're a relatively small brewery comparatively to a lot of people, and one of the things that I'm always like kind of looking at is like, what's the market share for Long Island breweries versus everybody else? Because Long Island seems like very open to small business, right? So
correct.
It doesn't matter how
they promote it that way because they want you to be like an individual town, a Huntington, a Babylon, a Patchogue.
Exactly. And like these are all like cool little hubs, and I mean even in Bayshore there are 4 different breweries, right? There's Brewers Collective, Dubco, Great South Bay, and us, and I think everybody kind of has, I mean obviously we do kind of like overlap a little bit, like in some of our brands and yada yada yada, but. I mean, basically, like I think everybody kind of does a good job of carving out this little niche, for ourselves. And I, personally, like as the beer fan that I am, before I even really got into the business side of it, like I want to see all the breweries on Long Island kind of take over. And I know what Lagunitas is, I know what New Belgium is, I know what Oscar Blues is, and I know these guys are great breweries, but I personally want to see more local stuff.
I agree.
Like San Diego has a really great culture with that, and a lot of times when you're talking about business, we kind of go to San Diego as as something to kind of compare different regions to, because San Diego is obviously one of the first places to kind of blow up with craft beer. Yeah. So when we compare Long Island to San Diego, it's like.
I wish it was San Diego, by the way. God damn it, I wish it was warm like that all the time.
Aside from the the weather, like I hope that like all the breweries on Long Island can crush it as much as San Diego breweries.
I think they're doing a really good job. It's on its way.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
sure.
It's been a lot of expansion. There's a lot of great brewers out there now.
The collaborations work too.
Yeah,
I've noticed that because
it seems to be the thing.
Yeah, I mean.
Though I think collaborations are great to kind of co-opt each other's, like if you have two big breweries, like one of the coolest ones that I've seen in recent memory wasn't so much like an actual beer collab, but it was one brewery kind of that had to close its tap room for
was it
for one reason
Dubco?
or another. No, it was actually San City, but they came down to Dubco. Like that.
And
North
Dubco
Shore.
ran out of taps. I remember that week.
Yeah.
So San City put most of their stuff on tap at Dubco.
It was it was kind of a match made in heaven. Like, all these awesome fans of North Shore beer came down to the South Shore, kind of showed another brewery that's. In my opinion, I think Dubco's doing an awesome job.
Oh, yeah.
Man. I'm really looking forward to seeing how they grow.
I'm a huge fan of the Brown.
Yeah.
The Brown is awesome. We talked Lithology Brown, but it's right up there. It's delicious.
Nice.
So you had this movement. You moved a lot.
Yeah.
You Connecticut, 5 boroughs in Brooklyn, back out here, commuting back and forth. How did you ever just say, I don't want to do this anymore. It's too much moving around. What kept you in it to get to this point?
What kept me in it to get to this point?
Because I basically bowed out the minute I had to sanitize everything all over again. I was telling them a million times, like, I love to homebrew, but it's so much work. I'm just like, no, I would love to. I got some great ideas, but it's just too much work for me. And at one point, I'd have to give up because it's just too for that travel and to have a girlfriend at the time and wife along the way takes a lot of dedication for her too. So I give you props.
Yeah.
What was her name?
Lauren.
Props to you. Good job.
Yeah,
for keeping them going.
She's been awesome. She's seen the highs, the lows, everything in between, and been nothing but supportive. So that's been really cool. And that's a big part of why I've kind of stuck with brewing. it's always kind of been where my heart is. Like like I said, I went through the American Brewers Guild. I have my certified Cicerone. Hopefully, I'll at some point in the near future, jump into that advanced Cicerone pool.
And what did that get you if you get there? More
Advanced?
recognition, or is it just a matter?
I don't know. I mean, for me, it's it's another mountain to climb.
Okay.
I've done a few cool things, and
do you think there's more to be learned about the process and your beers and the
always.
ingredients and all? Yeah,
always. I mean, there's
evolving like crazy. I just might add the addition of things like let's see if I get it right. Lulid powder. I was just seeing that pop up on a bunch of
over my head.
Lupulid powder. Yes, thank you. So,
yeah.
And I'm like, what the is this powder doing
That's
here?
over my head. I don't even know.
I mean,
is it a form of lactose? Is that what it is, or is it?
So there's lactose powder, which is basically derived from milk, which gives you. So lactose is an unfermentable sugar that a lot of brewers will add to their beer to increase the body without increasing the alcohol content or the. Or affecting the thinness of the body if it were to ferment.
Okay.
So lupulin powder is actually it's hop powder. Basically, so hops are a very aromatic floral cone, and they have some resins involved with them. So
I've seen like hop hash, and I've seen things like that.
Yeah. So essentially, this is. If I'm understanding you correctly, you're talking about lupulin powder, right?
Yes, correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's basically that's.
Basically,
you take,
people are adding these things, and I know where the hell they even hear these things. And of course, I'm sure they're in the business, and this is their life.
So there's another.
I know
industry.
this stuff more than it's in a sense. I would know what to do here, but in regards to that's stuff that even I consider myself someone that really strives to look into the process. Where did that come from? Like out of nowhere,
the.
I don't mean like physically where did it come from, because you said it was from the power. Like where
itself.
they get to learn to get to that point.
So. I don't actually know, so I'm going to
take an educated guess.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
And there's an industry that is kind of known for taking very very resinous plant material and freezing that plant material or soaking that in very ice cold water and then separating it out with bags or. The marijuana industry, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So we know where we're going with this. Yeah,
okay,
it's fine.
I was there. PG-13.
No,
podcast?
you can say it's totally cool. That's, I mean, we have explicit language on our website, and we edit it out later anyway.
Okay.
So the less we do, the less work I have to do in the editing process. Cool. So thanks a lot.
I was, I didn't want to go there. Glad I didn't.
No, but I mean, you could whatever you want. It doesn't matter.
No, okay. Good.
No, there's no kid. I don't think my kids are listening, so they're asleep.
I hope not. Otherwise, I'll try to make it as scientific and
she'll just yell at me later, and my daughter will just say
possible.
that you're using bad words again, Dad. I'm sorry.
So anyway,
we're talking about lupulin powder. Sorry, say it again.
Lupulin powder.
Lupulin powder.
No, it's a tongue twister, man.
Yeah. So I guess what I'm saying is, in regards to the advanced Cicerone process, are those things like you would learn from? Is that the kind of stuff you'd get out of that? Do you think?
I think the benefits of taking the advanced Cicerone would be the act of studying for the advanced Cicerone. You'd probably learn a lot more than what's actually on the test if you sat down and studied for it. I passed the certified Cicerone written exam. That was a breeze. That was easy. I probably could have.
Is it just like a written exam? Is there like a practical? Like, do they ask you to brew a batch of beer or from this point on?
We need you on FaceTime tomorrow. I need you to decide the whole process, start to finish.
So it was actually very low key. It was like like another college exam kind of thing.
Okay.
Like there's a written portion, a practical portion where they actually videotape you working on.
Different step in the process? Or?
Yeah, actually, it's more service based. So they're looking for do you know how to clean a Sankey? Do you know how to take apart a draft tap?
Okay,
tower,
I do.
You do? I'll test you later.
I'm a bartender.
Oh, very nice.
I've been a bartender for 20 years.
Very nice.
I used to brew in the kegs. I used to take the whole keg apart. I do everything in there. It would just make sense to me because then I could just put it on my tap that I have in my basement. So it's fantastic.
Yeah, there's a lot of we actually use soda kegs with the two posts and stuff.
Right, correct.
We actually use soda kegs at the brewery for yeast. So
that's what they were doing at Black Forest.
Yeah.
And I remember very early on, a long time ago, I call them up. I said I want to get a keg for a party. They're like, great. I said I have a keg. They're like, awesome. They didn't specify soda keg.
Yeah.
And so I come in with my little, half keg, quarter keg, and I show up and they're like, no, we can't do that. And I go, what do you mean? It's a keg. It's the tap handle I'm going to use in my house. No, you need a soda keg. And I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me, dude.
What is a soda keg?
Well, it's basically soda in a sense that instead of having the tap handle, like you said, you have two spouts and CO2 in, and it's just a different draft system. Huh. Like you would get with Guinness. A Guinness tap is different than you'd have the regular tap. Maybe you could shed some light on my...
you're exactly right. I mean, it was originally intended as a... So before the onset of the whole like bag and carbonated water, like bag of syrup and carbonated water thing for the soda industry, soda was actually delivered in 5-gallon kegs. So those 5-gallon kegs needed to be cleaned, and they were, I imagine they were just a lot harder to clean. So they had that, a secondary lid with a little gasket, a little pressure relief valve. And then on the sides of the kegs are these two little posts, one with a downspout to the bottom of the keg where you would actually draw the liquid from. So you'd basically use CO2 pressure,
right, to force it out.
Exactly. So you'd force the liquid out through that dip tube, kind of maintaining an inert environment without having to flip the keg upside down or anything like that.
And the cleaning process is much easier that way too. That's really the big deal about it. We had them actually. I bartended at a hotel. And they still were using those outside of bags because it was in a portable bar. So we used to roll the bar from the 4th floor down an elevator into the cocktail room, and they'd have all the kegs racked into the portable bar, and you'd have to sit there and it was just a pain in the ass. Especially for people who didn't know. I never had to deal with that before that time.
I've never even seen soda in a keg before.
Right. I knew, nor did I. And when I walked in there, I went, they're like, we got to teach you how to do this because this is, you run out of Sprite.
It's kind of a big deal.
The cool thing was you had a gun right there, which was nice. You had a soda gun right on the bar, and it's a portable bar. That was cool, so you can mix your drinks very easily.
No, PepsiCo actually, they've started to actually grow the bags of syrup in fields. It's amazing.
It's unbelievable what they're able to do with today's technology.
I know, it's fantastic.
We got robot vacuums. And
they actually have giant Roombas that go and pick the bags.
That's awesome. Just come right down the hallway. It's beautiful. I want one of those now.
I know.
Yeah. All right, so let's take you back. So we always get off track. This is what we do. So you're out of Black Forest. I'm trying to think where we left off. Oh, and you're looking to go in with 5 boroughs.
Yeah.
You did that for a while.
Yeah.
And you set them up. You basically got them rolling.
Yeah.
Trained some of their guys to...
Yeah, I kind of got those guys, set a plan up, and they kind of ran with it. So then I left. I had a brief stint working at Newark Airport.
Really?
In the terminal for a restaurant. That was a madhouse. Just absolute insanity.
Pre 9/11?
No.
Oh, balls.
No, this is.
I could only imagine what that was like.
Yeah.
Trying to get knives into.
Yeah.
How much did you have?
No, all the knives were.
So you couldn't bring your own knives?
No. I was front of the house.
Oh, all right,
back then. So
I thought maybe.
But I mean, all the knives were chained to the countertops, and
I've seen
everything's
that.
got to get X-rayed.
Oh, dude, I can't even imagine what it's like to do anything that you'd want to do as a chef inside of an airport
in
terminal.
a secure environment.
Oh.
I'll say this: those guys had where there's a will, there's a way, and they willed themselves to do some really nice food. It was. Luckily it was a company that had the resources to kind of figure out some creative ways to do stuff. So, you might not have your preferred set of knives at work, but you were still, they made it work, and they made it work really well.
Wow.
For lack of a better way to say it, we never went hungry, and we're never lacking for food options.
And there's always people coming through.
Yeah.
I mean, you're always going to have customers. That's the one thing about it, I would say, was probably the benefit of ever being in an airport terminal. The nonsense you deal with, you're never going to have, you have an endless supply of people walking right by you.
Let's just say this. I was the bar manager for a little while.
Okay.
And I was not in charge of ordering everything because it was very automated in that sense, but I had never really had the opportunity to sell a $50 12-ounce bottle of beer until I got to an airport, and I did it. And it was like
what beer?
What now?
It was an Italian beer
right, so
with
it was an import or
chestnuts.
something, yeah.
But it was like it's a really good beer, and there are very few places that you would be able to really.
But
pull
people
that
coming
off
in
a
from
successful
foreign
way.
places would come down, sit and.
No, these are a couple
Regular
of
people,
it's a couple
commuters?
of hipsters coming from
Nice.
Brooklyn, like
positive thing about
starting
a
their
hipster.
vacation.
Don't
Yeah,
wear
it's
those up.
like
Yeah.
all you have to say is like, so you're starting your vacation, right? Why are you just pull your checkbook out? I'm gonna make sure you have a good time. Don't worry.
Take care of business.
Don't think about the fact that this is an airport. It's all good.
Don't look up or to the left, but just stare at the bar and everything's good.
Exactly. Yeah.
Drink your
So
beer.
after OTG, I decided to get into. Oh wait, no. So that was when I was with Five Boroughs, and then.
So Five Boroughs, let me just ask you, goes back pre 2009.
You know what? I don't
Or
remember
was it
when
not
I
quite
first
the
met
Five
those
Boroughs
guys. It was like a
label?
conception, and then
Okay.
when I came on there's like a 2-year period where we were all part time, and then slowly became full time.
Okay.
And then, so yeah. Anyway, I left Five Boroughs, and then I decided to try to find out more about some of the other facets of the beer industry. So I started sales. I worked for a distributor.
Okay. Which one?
SKI. So,
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so sold a lot of good beers. Yep. Kind of, saw what it took to kind of, run a route day to day and deal with, a really vast majority of, personalities. Like, I was in South Brooklyn, and there are a lot of different types of bars. Like, you can go into white tablecloth restaurants, and you can, in this, like, literally right next door, there's going to be, an Irish bar that's going to, crush it with one of your, your more sessionable beers. So, being able to kind of figure out how to, stay flexible and never get caught.
Well, it helps to have
sleeping.
a good menu because SKI has pretty good names to it.
Yeah.
That if you go through it, you could probably find something, if not many things, that each restaurant could adapt to.
Yeah, their portfolio was really nice to use because they spanned everything from like English to Indian to Italian, like and this is just beer.
Right.
So it was kind of a layup in terms of like my food knowledge, my restaurant knowledge, plus my production knowledge.
Yeah, that really
so
helps.
like kind of going in, I had a good idea of where I wanted to go with that. I did that for about a year, and then 6 Point actually reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to take over Queens and Long Island. So I was looking to move out to Long Island anyway, so it was like perfect opportunity.
So you became the 6 Point rep out here.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. For a brief moment in time, I have much love for the 6 Point team. I think they're awesome.
You see their new resin lineup?
Yeah,
Have you tasted it?
anti-resin. No, I haven't. That's one thing.
It was sold
about
out
being-
within a day. I saw.
Yeah.
I'm like, God damn it! I'm not going to drive in there
Yeah.
to get it. But I was hoping maybe they'd do some distributing out here.
You know
But
what
for
I think?
the small stuff.
I think for that kind of stuff, it's totally worth the drive in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I missed my boat. I gotta do it next time. Did you see it?
No.
They got four different varieties.
Yeah, I think it was double dry hopped resin, anti-resin, low res, and their whole
the low res thing. I think, or high res.
High res. Yeah, and then there's
High
the
res,
the
yeah.
regular res is double IPA, the regular
Yeah.
one, and then they got the high res, which is the triple IPA.
Yep.
I think I saw. Yeah.
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 Yeah,
And
no,
then-
those
and
guys
then
are.
I think one of them was a hazy, and one of them was it a session? Was the anti-res a session? Yeah. So, or was it the?
I think the low res is the
Low
session,
res, yeah.
but I know that one they distribute a little bit further.
Yeah, that I've seen around.
Yeah.
But this was like a special release.
Okay.
And they just played off the resin element, which was
Yeah.
pretty cool. And the
Yeah.
cans looked phenomenal.
Yeah.
We always talk about
The artwork. Yeah.
which, by the way, we'll get to your artwork in just a little bit.
Oh, awesome.
Because I think
Love
the whole
it.
next segment we're going to talk about just
Okay.
the here and now, but we'll just want to build up to that point.
Totally.
And then we'll move on. So, yeah. So you ended up being the Long Island rep for 6 Point, which is, again, another slam dunk because many bars around here have 6 Point. I'm sure probably responsible for a little bit of that.
You know what? I would like to think so. Like, I hope so.
Take credit for it.
Yeah, yeah.
you know
I
what,
did
that-
it.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah.
No, but I think
I go
you
in
know,
there, I say, you're buying it. Wait, that's not even the right.
That wasn't a good sound effect.
No, that was terrible. It should have been this one. There you go. Like the Old West.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that was supposed to be a six shooter.
There you go. All right.
All right.
All right. That's the only sound effects we have, so I got to use them at least once a show, and I can just imagine you like an old Western barging in with your 6-point portfolio and going, hey, listen here, you're going to order a 6-point, aren't you? Like, no, sir, I'm not. Yeah, you are.
I could do some
Dang,
voices.
terrible.
No, I was always more about the soft sell, and like I'm happy that like they got somebody really great to replace me, so I'm kind of happy to see that I didn't leave the territory wanting. So I know a lot of folks that, on Long Island that were excited for, 6-point to kind of, be a little bit more present,
Yeah.
I think it's going to be, which is, another awesome thing, another cool perk of the job.
I love the Bengali Tiger.
You get to push people that don't
one.
want to do sales into doing sales, and then they're really successul
Yeah.
at it. And
That's my
it's
wife.
heartwarming. Really?
That's my
Nice.
wife. Yes,
Nice.
it is my wife. She
Very
was
cool.
in art. That's how we know each other. Our wives
Okay.
work together. And she did that forever. It was her career. It was her college degree. And got to a point where the company that she loved, but the people that she worked with, depending on the day, really weren't what she was thinking that she wanted to live her rest of her life and her career out doing. And the ownership basically called out to her and said, you should do sales. You got the personality, you got the look, everything. You should go out, and you're going to get more flexible time and all that stuff. And she said, no, I'll give it a shot. Now she loves it.
Yeah,
It's one of
hey,
those things.
that was my kind of thought. I was like, look, I might not be the the smartest salesperson, but it's
When you have a product
it's
that
a
sells
relationship
itself,
thing. It's a relationship business, and it's a numbers business. So
Yeah,
as long
that's
as you can kind of compute, those two aspects of it, I think you're okay.
Now, were you able to take clients out? Was that part of a
No,
thing?
you
Did
know,
get like a
it's-
6-point
I mean, it's tough
box?
when you're going into bars and you're like, do you want to go to another bar?
So, do you want to just sit down at your bar and just hang out and,
I mean,
I'll pay for it.
they were all very like, as long as you hung out and kind of talked to their patrons and really just
did you have to do like
tastings
I
and
know
stuff?
yeah like,
Yeah.
or did you go around and like buy a round of drinks for everybody? Anybody want a 6-point? You do like a 25 pint tab with the bar. I know I
Yes.
worked at many restaurants or
Yeah.
bars at this point that still do that, and
Yeah,
you get your
that's-
product out there. It
Yeah,
makes sense.
it's. I mean, it works because it works on a number of different levels. Mainly because you're, people are creatures of habit, so they don't necessarily always want to try a new beer just because you're Johnny Cool Guy that's like trying to talk them into that double Russian Imperial Stout with all the hops. So they're like,
I was drinking a Coors Light, but now
if you're just like, look, hey, I bought you one. Tell me what you think later.
Yeah.
I think you win a lot more flies with honey than you do with vinegar.
I agree,
so,
yeah.
As long as you're cool about it and upfront about what your goals are, I think you do really well that way.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
yeah.
So 6-point eventually turned into what?
6-point. 6-point was great, and I didn't leave 6-point because I didn't like them or
Okay.
the company or the beer. Like, it was an awesome sales job, but in the back of my head, like I said, I went through the American Brewers Guild. I'm a brewer at heart, so the Fire Island job was kind of put in front of me, and what else are you going to do to take it?
So before we get into the rest of the stuff with Fire Island, so you're head brewer. What else is the company composed of? There's an ownership group.
There is
one or two people.
There are some private investors that are
Okay.
really sweet guys.
Are they beer people or are they restaurant people?
Some are beer
I don't know.
people,
You-
some are
if you don't
restaurant
wanna
people,
s-
some
yeah, if
are
you don't-
business people. No, I mean
Yeah.
it's a very valid question, and I mean it's something that like I like to keep in mind myself. Like, but they're they kind of come from all walks of life. Some are low keys, some are some have worked in banks their whole life. But I think in general they have good business sense, and they're for me personally they're a bit of a resource as far as kind of learning that third aspect. There's the production, side that I already know because I've been a brewer for so long. There's the sales side, which I've kind of picked up pretty quickly. But then there's the other
how
side of it.
How do you make
it
it profitable so you can keep doing it?
Yeah. And
because I would just be drinking
semi-important.
I mean, that's part of my other problem is I brew something and I'm like, it's all mine now. I mean, no one's gonna get this anymore.
Yeah, like when I first started out, I was always like, those sales guys, they make too much money, and without us, there wouldn't be any beer to sell. But like little did
without
I know,
them, there's you're brewing one batch. And that's...
Yeah, I could literally make Pliny the Elder day in and day out, and if nobody's buying it, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
I'm not paying my bills. So, and then so there's also that other aspect of it where you have to make sure. There has to be an adult. There has to be
there has to be some supervision
a
somewhere.
warden for the prisoner. Somebody running the asylum.
Can't put the boys all on the brewery and on the floor and go, hey, let's have some fun today.
Yeah.
Have there been things like you've wanted to brew and then it's just like this? No one's gonna buy this kind of thing. Like what's something you've thought like this is definitely a hit, and then no, it's not.
So. So when I first came on, so we moved from this contract brew business model to this, we're all about Long Island, and now we are, and we had a lot of discussions about if we were going to keep the core beers the same or if we were going to try to change them up and make them a little bit more contemporary and however else you want to talk about that, but
mainstreaming.
Like I guess mainstreaming them for the the current market. Like Lighthouse Ale is a classic amber ale. Red Wagon IPA is a it's a in today's terms an exceptionally dark. I would say it's amber, but it's only hopped with Cascade and Centennial, so it's got a much different hop profile than what a lot of people are looking for these days in IPAs. And then, sea salt. That's basically a blonde ale that we finished with some sea salt. And
did you bring sea salt in?
I didn't.
It's the only one I haven't had.
I'm sorry.
I saw it in the lineup. I'm like, sea salt tonight.
I think that might mean there's a round two.
All right, now you're talking.
All right.
No, that's cool. That's definitely cool.
Yeah,
I want to go back really quick to the business question because we have a buddy of ours, Belmore Brewing. I don't know if you know. He's looking to start up and he's meeting with investors. So what kind of advice would you give to a startup brewery like that that's looking for investors? Who should he be looking at? Because I know you said they come from all walks of life. I don't know if he's looking in one direction or what he's doing. Should he be, I guess, diversifying the types of people he speaks to? Or
in terms of like who you want to talk to and who you want to take money from, I think that's that's a really personal decision. I think you got to you have to look at how you work with a person. Like anybody can be an investor if they have enough money, right? But you don't want to get in bed with somebody that either you're not going to be able to manage their expectations or they're not going to be able to meet your needs, I guess. So that's
money always in the business world. It always comes in strings. So
Yeah. So
you
I
also
guess
don't
want to
bring someone on that's got too much to say about the way you ruin your art that you wanted to put together.
Yeah,
and then everything just doesn't turn out to be what you want it to be.
Unless you're okay with that. Like I said, I came from a fairly an artisanal background, with the culinary school, with brewing school, with having some brew pubs under my belt and yada yada yada. So, but there are also guys that have worked at bigger breweries and have seen what their production is like and how it benefits the guys on the ground when all they're doing is like light lagers or a standard pale ale or something like
how
something
it wears on them over time that they're just not doing some of the
well,
things.
no,
that
not even
doing,
like
or?
that. Everybody's different. Like I could on the one
Consistency
hand,
is a quality. All
yeah, like you can have as much
yeah.
of a passion for consistency and quality as you can for that
Creativity,
juice
yeah.
craze.
Yeah.
Like you can be like that. You can be the guys that make the juiciest IPAs on the block, or you can be the guys that make the the light lager and the dark lager perfectly every time, and that's all you do.
Yeah, the consistency is big.
Like Black Forest Brewhouse, that's a they don't.
I've been going there for God knows how long. That amber
Pilsner,
still tastes like it. Yeah,
and Hefeweizen.
It freaking tastes the same every time I'm there. That's why I love it so much.
Yeah, I'm sure
that's what brings people back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
true.
So, yeah, I mean, So, in addition to that whole like who you should be talking to, as far as like talk to the people that you enjoy talking to give you money. but also do the things that you want to
Sounds so
do.
good. It's like, just give me money.
Yeah.
We're looking to start a business called the Wørt with Mike and Pete.
Nice.
We're looking
okay.
for investors.
Okay.
But I did. That's it wasn't really pertaining to me. It was really pertaining to Belmore. But I mean, I just think some of the things that we've been talking about back and forth. He's going in and meeting with investors. I just can't imagine that. I'm not a person that's very good doing that, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm great with, teaching and tech stuff, but when it comes to that types of stuff, I can't imagine being an independent brewer and then having to step up and be a business manager. And
ask for money.
Yeah, it's I don't know.
Yeah.
Never been one to do that.
It's nice to have the. So we have. I think you were talking about like how we're structured and
yeah, exactly.
Right now we've got 4 personnel on staff. So there's Bert and Simon. Bert Fernandez is one of the founders. He's our sales manager, and Simon Leonard is our brewmaster / president. So Simon does the majority of the business side. Bert does the majority of the sales side.
Okay.
Simon started out as a home brewer. Has worked in. I don't know what the heck.
Bunch of different breweries, just
not even brewers.
Oh.
This is his first brewery, but he's a business guy, so
Okay.
he knows like how to make sure everybody kind of gets what they need to get the job done, so to say. So,
and so your primary job is literally just brewing the beer. You don't have to deal with business.
I don't, but it's something that I've been trying to learn. So Simon's been great about like kind of taking me under his wing and teaching me a lot of stuff. Like I had no idea what pivot tables were in Excel, but up until about 2 weeks ago.
I don't either.
So
I mean, I'm
I've
pretty
heard the
good with
term.
Excel, but I don't know what the hell it is.
You need a lot of data before it makes sense to use it.
I guess if you're looking to track and calculate and that kind of stuff, I guess that makes sense. I know what a table is. I can build a table in Excel, but I don't know what a pivot table is.
I know how to highlight stuff and
me too. Yeah,
make really pretty, charts.
Look how colorful this one column is. It's
I'm
nice
very
and
good at that.
I can sum up a column.
Yeah, I can do that too. It's awesome. L1 plus L15.
Is that equals plus?
That's something they don't teach you in third grade. You're like, one day you just have to type in a whole bunch of letters and numbers, and it'll just do it for you. Like, okay.
It's over the since I started the whole sales thing, like basically seeing what you can do. Like maybe this is a side note, but seeing what you can do on Excel is absurd. It is literally like it's basically the new. What's
graphing calculator?
No, not even graphic. I mean, yes.
Or you mean like
not graphing calculator, not QuickBooks, DOS.
DOS.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like
yuck.
I know. Yeah, it's like you could just throw some algorithms in there and bang zoom. You have a picture of a rose.
My first college degree shot was computer programming, C++.
Not for you?
No. And listen, I built computers. I could program a computer, but not in that C++ visual thing. No clue. I see all that and I just go, oh.
You don't see the Matrix?
No.
When you sleep?
I fall asleep, but I do not see the Matrix. I see another beer in my hand in college, and that's probably what accounted for the first failure out of the first school. But other than that, the C++ was hard. I'm not a business guy. For me, it's about I'm good on the tech side. I have a little creative side, but the business side kind of scares me. I'm not one to go about and try to, like I said, ask for money or start a business. Even if I wanted to brew beer, it was just something that in the back of my mind, I'm saying, even if I did this, I'm not gonna. I need other people around me, and at the time, no one else wanted to do anything with me.
Yeah.
I mean, I had friends. Mind you, I had friends.
Did you?
I did.
Did you?
You know what
but they just didn't want to do what I wanted to do.
I think the leadership aspect of it is probably the hardest. Like, it's not so much. I mean, you know what you know, you know what you don't know, you know what you're passionate about, and how you want to make money. But it takes a special talent to be able to like say, hey, I don't know how to do this. Can you show me how? Because I want to make some money doing it, and make money for myself. And if you want to be partners or whatever, there's a lot of ways to do it. But
I find that in even kids, like I teach 17 and 18-year-olds.
Kind of thing,
and in this kind of stuff, there is. You could see it in them. Some of them want to do it, so they'll have enough balls to come up and ask you. Some of them are girls, so. And other ones will just sit back, and you can see they want to do it. They just don't have it in them to ask, or to want to know, or to want you to know that they don't know, which is weird in my opinion. Because I always feel like if I didn't know something and I want to know, I'd ask.
Yeah.
But some of these guys, even at an early age, you could tell they're just not going to be askers. They're just going to try, and then hopefully they fall into it.
Well, let me ask you something. Are you a rock climber?
I do rock climb. I'm not a professional rock climber at all, but I've done several rock climbs. Yes.
Well, so when you first started rock climbing, did you know exactly what you're doing?
No.
You took that first step and you're like, hey,
I had it. It was
what shoes do I use?
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
We were wearing hiking shoes, believe it or not, because we were on a 5-mile hike and this first time, and okay, here's the rock you're gonna climb. Oh, okay. And with the backpack on top of being belayed and all that other crap.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was definitely a hard first few moments, but once you got used to it, and most of the weight's going to be pulled up on you anyway.
Yeah.
You eventually learned it out. But then, if you want to learn more, that's when you go to Dick's and ask about it.
It's all about that. It's all about that first step. You know?
Absolutely.
Like it's like for you, it was being in the Scouts and having somebody say, nope, you're not walking around this rock. You're going up the rock.
Yeah.
So,
not that I didn't want to do it, I guess. But there's that moment when you're 13, 14 years old going, I have to climb, 200 feet up there. And okay.
Yeah.
I guess I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the first step you got to take.
Yeah.
So we're going to get a break underway. I think that's a good hour we just put in again by blinking.
Yep.
As we always say. We're going to take some music here, and we'll be back in just a few minutes with Dan Moss, head brewer.
Beer.
Oh, we're gonna. Oh, that's the next
It's beer time.
Yes,
it's beer o'clock.
Beer 30, I think.
Beer.
Yep.
Oh,
is it
beer 53?
Sure, it is.
Yeah, we're gonna talk to Dan more about his current venture in the Fire Island Brewery and where we can find all that and taste it. And we'll be back in just a moment with more good stuff.
Govs Radio.
This is the Wørt on Govs Radio.